Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Chapter 14. By and by, when we got up, we turned over the truck the gang had stole off of the wreck, and found boots and blankets and clothes, and all sorts of other things, and a lot of books, and a spyglass, and 3 boxes of cigars. We hadn't ever been this rich before in neither of our lives. The cigars was prime. We laid off all the afternoon in the woods talking, and me reading the books, and having a general good time. I told Jim all about what happened inside the wreck and at the ferry boat, and I said these kinds of things was adventures, but he said he didn't want no more adventures. He said that when I went in the Texas and he crawled back to get on the raft and found her gone, he nearly died, because he judged it was all up with him, anyway it could be fixed, for if he didn't get saved he would get drowned, and if he did get saved, whoever saved him would send him back home so as to get the reward, and then Miss Watson would sell him south, sure. Well, he was right, he was most always right, he had an uncommon level head, for a nigger. I read considerable to Jim about kings and dukes and earls and such, and how gaudy they dressed, and how much style they put on, and called each other your majesty, and your grace, and your lordship, and so on, 'stead of Mr., and Jim's eyes bugged out, and he was interested. He says, I didn't know dey was so many I hein te hearn bout none Scazely, but ole King Solomon, onless you counts dem kings that's in a pack erk yards. How much do a king get? Get? I says, why, they get $1,000 a month if they want it, they can have just as much as they want, everything belongs to them. And dat gay? And what dey got to do, Huck? They don't do nothing. Why, how you talk? They just sit around. No, is dat so? Of course it is. They just sit around except, maybe, when there's a war, then they go to the war. But other times they just lazy around, or go hawking just hawking and spsh, do you hear a noise? We skipped out and looked, but it warn't nothing but the flutter of a steamboat's wheel away down, coming around the point, so we come back. Yes, says I, and other times, when things is dull, they fuss with the parliament, and if everybody don't go just so he whacks their heads off. But mostly they hang round the harem. Round a witch? Harem. What's de harem? The place where he keeps his wives. Don't you know about the harem? Solomon had one, he had about 1,000,000 wives. Why, yes, that's so, I'd done forgot it. A harem's a Bodleian house, I reckon. Mos likely dey has rackety times in de nussery. And I reckon de wives quarrels considerable, and dat crease de racket. Yet dey say Solomon de wisest man dat ever live. I don't take no stock in dat becase why, would a wise man want to live in de midst sich a blimblamin all de time? No deed he wouldn't. A wise man ud take and bill a biler factory, and den he could shut down de biler factory when he want to res. Well, but he was the wisest man, anyway, because the widow she told me so, her own self. I don't care what de widder say, he warn't no wise man nuther. He had some de dad fetched ways I ever see. Does you know bout dat chili dat he us gwine to chop in two? Yes, the widow told me all about it. Well, den. Warn dat de beaten's notion in de world? You just take and look at it a minute. Das de stump, da that's one de women, he is you that's de other one, I Salermon, and dish your dollar bills de Chile. Both on you claims it. What does I do? Does I shin around mongs de neighbors and find out which on you de bill do belong to, and hon it over to de right one, all safe and sown, de way dat anybody dat had any gumption would? No, I take and whack de bill in two, and give half on it to you, and de other half to de other woman. That's de way Salermon was gwine to do wid de Chile. Now I want to ask you, what's de use dat half a bill, can't buy nothin' wid it. And what use is a half a Chile? I wouldn't give a dern for a million on But hang it, Jim, you've clean missed the point, blame it, you've missed it 1,000 mile. Who? Me? Go long. Don't talk to me 'bout yo pints. I reckon I knows sense when I sees it, and dey an no sense in sich doin' as dat dispute warranty 'bout a half a Chile, dispute was 'bout a whole Chile, and a man dat think he kin settle a spute 'bout a whole Chile wid a half a Chile don't know enough to come in out and rain. Don't talk to me 'bout Salermon, Huck, I knows him by de back. But I tell you, you don't get the point. Blame de point. I reckon I knows what I knows. And mind you, de real pint is down furder, it's down deeper. It lays in de way Salermon was raised. You take a man that's got only 1 or 2 chillin, is dat man gwine to be wasteful o' chillin? No, he ain't, he can't 'ford it. He know how to value 'em. But you take a man that's got 'bout 5 million chillin runnin' round a house, and it's diffuent. He as soon chop a chili in two as a cat. Days plenty mo. A chili two, more less, warranty no cons ekins to Salermon, dad fetch him. I never see such a nigger. If he got a notion in his head once, there warranty no getting it out again. He was the most down on Solomon of any nigger I ever see. So I went to talking about other kings, and let Solomon slide. I told about Louis XVI that got his head cut off in France long time ago, and about his little boy the Dolphin, that would have been a king, but they took and shut him up in jail, and some say he died there. Po little chapter. But some says he got out and got away, and come to America. That's good. But he'll be pooty lonesome day and no kings here, is day, Huck? No. Den he can't get no situation. What he gwine to do? Well, I don't know. Some of them gets on the police, and some of them learns people how to talk French. Why, Huck, don't the French people talk the same way we does? No, Jim, you couldn't understand a word they said, not a single word. Well, now, I be ding busted. How do dat come? I don't know, but it's so. I got some of their jabber out of a book. Suppose a man was to come to you and say, "Parlez-vous Franzi," what would you think? I wouldn't think nuffin', I'd take and bust him over de head, dat is, if he warn't white. I wouldn't low no nigger to call me dat. Shucks, it ain't calling you anything. It's only saying, do you know how to talk French? Well, den, why couldn't he say it? Why, he is saying it. That's a Frenchman's way of saying it. Well, it's a blame Riddick Klaus way, and I don't want to hear no mo about it. Dey an no sense in it. Looky here, Jim, does a cat talk like we do? No, a cat don't. Well, does a cow? No, a cow don't, nuther. Does a cat talk like a cow, or a cow talk like a cat? No, they don't. It's natural and right for 'em to talk different from each other, ain't it? Course. And ain't it natural and right for a cat and a cow to talk different from us? Why, most surely it is. Well, then, why ain't it natural and right for a Frenchman to talk different from us? You answer me that. Is a cat a man, Huck? No. Well, den, dey ain't no sense in a cat talkin' like a man. Is a cow a man, is a cow a cat? No, she ain't either of them. Well, den, she ain't got no business to talk like either one the other of 'em. Is a Frenchman a man? Yes. Well, den. Dad blame it, why don't he talk like a man? You answer me dat. I see it warn't no use wasting words, you can't learn a nigger to argue. So I quit.